Good morning, everybody. My name is Nguyen, and I'm a chairman today. So I have a little rules to the presenters. So please, you have 30 minutes for your presentation, and you have 10 minutes for Q&A section. So please do the presentation within your time limit. And the second, because today we will recording the video in high vision, and it will be broadcast to the world. So please stand up and make loud and clear voice, please. And please make communication with the audience. Ask questions whether they understand your presentation or not. And to the audience, I have some requests to you. First, you please attend the seminar and click on the Google Calendar, because if you don't click to join that event, it will not be counted as you participated. And please ask at least one question. And if you don't have the chance to ask questions during in the Q&A section, please write your questions in the feedback form. The feedback form I have sent to you via email yesterday. And please open your email, click on the link, and be sure that you have signed in, use CS account. After the seminar, please submit your feedback form right after the seminar. All right? And any complimented explanations and questions and are welcome during the presentation. That's all. So today we have three presenters, Mr. Alonso, Mr. Manaha, and Mr. Torigai. First of all, Mr. Alonso will give you the presentation. Great. Okay. I will push one bell for 20 minutes and two bells for 30 minutes.
So hello everybody, my name is Oscar Alonso from Deguchi Genkijutsu, and well, today I'm going to talk about this. First I will do a brief self-introduction of where I come from, what I did before coming to Deguchi Genkijutsu, and then I will talk about my research topic, the progress, although you should have a question mark here, but okay, and then I will talk about what I'm doing right now. Here we go. So I come from Colombia, this is South America. This is very far. It takes usually 25 hours to come from airport to airport. You can do it through United States, and it takes more money and a little bit less time, but almost the same time. So I usually come through Canada. Yeah. So a little bit about my country. So this is my city. Bogota is a city of about 7 million inhabitants. It's quite big. Not as big as Tokyo, of course. And my country is famous because we have a lot of nature. Again, I want to display this also. I want to go to this place. It's a very tall place, like 5,000 meters over the sea level. So in this place it is very difficult to breathe, but it's very beautiful. I want to go there someday. We have more nature here. Yeah. This construction is very interesting. I've never been there, but it's like in a very difficult place to build. They build these cathedrals. Awesome. Very beautiful. And we also have carnivals like in Brazil, and my country is also beautiful for Latin style bars. People ask me about that, so I include it here. And we are also famous for this. Because we have problems with the drug traffic, so it appears frequently in the news, but it's not a big problem. If you go to Colombia, you will not see anything like this. But anyway, the people who traffic drugs control some places of the country like this. This is a very beautiful river. I wish I someday will be able to go there. It's very beautiful, but it's dangerous to go there right now. Okay, so about my academic background. So first, I studied systems engineering, and I did some research about the iterated prisoner's dilemma. Then I did a master in computational intelligence, and I did some research about brain-inspired computing, especially artificial neural networks. And about my research interest. Of course I like computing, but I also like microeconomics and game theory and evolutionary modeling of social phenomena. While I was in Colombia, I produced this first, from my bachelor. I produced a paper for a conference, and then I extended that work to a book chapter. This book is like the seminal work of Robert Axelrod about the iterated prisoner's dilemma. They made a competition and they write a book about that. And I wrote a chapter and it was accepted for publication, so I was very happy about this. And in my master, I basically did a work where I compare artificial neural network algorithms to coevolutionary algorithms and establish a metric to compare the performance of different algorithms. And well, I collaborated in this paper, basically translated the work from Spanish to English. So, although I understand the topic, I didn't contribute much to this one. So, well, this is my family. So we are 5. My father, my mother, have a brother who is 25 right now, a sister who is like 19, 18, and she's my girlfriend. I love that picture. It's very nice. And this is about me, my hobbies. First, I like running, so I ran the Tokyo Marathon in 5 hours, dressed in a Doraemon costume. It was very nice because in Japan everybody loves Doraemon. So when I was running, everybody told me, "Hey, ganbare!" Run. It was very nice. And also I like anime. Oh, that's me here. That's the only picture I have of me running. So it's not good, but that's what I have. And well, this is about anime. I like this anime too. Sayonara Setsubo Sensei. Who knows it? You know? Okay, it's very interesting. By the way, you know it, but do you like it?
It's okay, it's to be honest, actually.
Okay. So, and this is, who knows this one? Okay. So this is Azumanga.io. Very nice too. Okay. So, that's enough about me now. About my research topic. So basically what I try to model is price dynamics, especially inflation. So we define inflation as a general increase in the price level, and is usually considered harmful to the economy. And the problem is that when you have inflation, of course you would like to reduce it because it's harmful. But if you try to reduce it, you will have to pay a cost. Like if you want to reduce inflation, you will create a recession in the economy. And so the question is how to fight inflation without harming the economy. It's a very general question. So this is the way I approach the question. First, the general question is how do we reduce the cost of disinflation? And the usual answer is, well, build a model and simulate policies in a model. The thing is that there are several models, several macroeconomic models, and no one has like satisfactory explanation of the relation between inflation and output. Like there are several things that are not explained by those models. So I said I want to build a model, and so the question: how can we contribute? Like try to build a better model of inflation and production. And so I decided to focus in the individual price changes and formulate questions like how do firms update prices, how do firms interact, and how are individual decisions aggregated.
あれはボスのボスのですちょっとずらしてずらせ
この椅子は
前君こっち来れる
10年ぐらい前から拾ってくれす。OK。Okay. So the thing is that I decided to focus on the individual characteristics of firms to research about inflation, and so we have I had like the following conversation with myself. Like you can say like, well, inflation is a well understood phenomenon, and I say no, it is not. That the models that we currently use to understand inflation have like very unrealistic assumptions. Usually, the firms do not check the economy before changing prices. There is like an external rule to how to update prices. That's very unrealistic. Actually, it's counterfactual. So the question: so what do I propose? Well, create models that incorporate more realistic pricing models. And why is this important? Because if we create a model that reflects like more realistically the relation between production and price dynamics, we can make the process of disinflation less costly. Here is some of the data I checked. Well, this is the first thing is that prices are not changed frequently. So this is like a plot of if a price have been set for, let's say here, 25 months, I mean 2 years, there is a price that has not changed. What is the probability that in that month it will be updated? And so this is called a hazard function, and it's decreasing. This is counterintuitive. Like you expect, like the more time has passed, the price should be wrong. So you should have a higher probability of being close to be changed, but it doesn't happen. So you have prices that last very long periods without being changed, and you also have that a lot of prices are changed very frequently. And the thing is that the model that is most frequently used in macroeconomics, the model price changes, is the Calvo staggering model, and it predicts that this graph should be like this, a horizontal line. Like the probability of changing a price is constant independently of the macroeconomic conditions. Like if you just change the price and if you kept the same price for 5 years, the probability of changing the price is exactly the same. And we have other models like this is called SSS strategies. Basically, this model allows the firm has an optimal price, and it tells you have like a range of inaction. You can allow, like, if the price changes, the optimal price changes 5% more, 5% less, just don't change this price because it's bad. But if the optimal price changes more than that, you decide to update your price. So the expected shape of this graph should be like this. Like in some period of time, all the firms change prices. So the thing is that none of those models match the data. Also, we have evidence about how the firms make the procedure to change prices. So what they have into account when they change prices is first implicit and explicit price contracts. Explicit is easy. Like if I have a contract that I have to sell this product at the same time for 1 year, I will do it. But implicit contracts refer to the fact that people do not like price changes. So the companies, the firms, try to keep the price constant to avoid making the customers angry. A second thing that influences the process of price change is this cost shocks. And what this means is that when a company has a demand shock, I mean like the demand increases or the demand decreases, the company doesn't change the price. What they usually do is they just update the amount of the good produced. But when one of the suppliers change the price, like if I produce books and now the paper is more expensive, then I change the price of my product. And the third factor is this coordination failure. Like you have several firms in a sector, and all of them independently think that they are selling too cheap, but no one wants to be the first firm to change the price. Again, to avoid making the customers angry. So, this is one part, how firms change prices. And the other aspect I want to consider is about the structure of the economy. Like, we have macro models which are very simplistic. Usually, firms are homogeneous and they do not interact with each other. Or in the best case, we have several layers of firms like this, and all of them interact with each other, which is also unrealistic. So I want to explore this alternative. We have we have a firm, and we can establish which other firms that firm make contract, and that create a network. And I think that the topology of that network is important to explain the dynamic of prices. So this is like a general review of the approach. Basically, regarding the individual price setting, I want to focus on this menu cost models. This is basically an explanation of why prices do not change, why firms do not change prices all the time. And this is a way to model that. I will explain this later. Generalized strategies. About social interaction, I want to model input-output structure. That means we have intermediate goods. I want to model coordination, and I want to model interaction between firms. And regarding macroeconomic feedback, we have to model expectations about future inflation and future behavior of the economy. So, we always have these questions, why to use agent-based simulation? And the reason is that when we consider analytical models, we have to assume very simplistic price updating rules in order to be able to aggregate the behavior of firms. So we have to usually to assume that firms are homogeneous, and that we have an infinite number of firms, and expectations are rational, like very strong assumptions. So if we use agent-based simulations, we can make more complex price updating rules, and we can obtain the aggregated behavior through simulation. So that's about my research topic. Any questions so far?
Please show me the first graph.
This one?
Yes. Is it related of sum of all probability is 100%? Is it related?
So if at some time the probability is 100%?
Of sum of all graph. Is it 100%?
Oh, I think like none of the values is 100%. But I'm sorry, I don't understand the question. You mean if this is a probability distribution?
So
that the interval gives 100?
100.
No, it isn't.
So please next graph.
Okay.
I feel very strange that the Carlos prediction is
Horizontal line.
some maybe some of probability may be infinite.
Oh yeah, yeah. According to this model, there is a small probability that the price may be just continue.
And this range, finite range.
No, like when you use this in analytical models, you don't consider like a finite time horizon. So there is not a time limit.
So you can see that at the time of 1 year and 2 years, there are little local change in the price change. Do you have any explanation?
Oh yeah, actually, the thing is that there are several prices that are changed only in some periods. For instance, university fees are changed only in April. While in my country, like it's usually in January that most of the prices change. So this is related to seasonality. Yeah, and yeah, that's also an important factor to consider. Is that okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other question?
Please.
Oh yeah.
Sorry. Next is
This one?
and next is structures and no structure. I think this has no structure and this has structure.
So maybe the name is wrong. Like, well, when I say no structure, I think about this. Like, you have several firms and they do not interact with each other. Like, they produce only some goods and they sell it directly to consumer, but they not buy any intermediate good from other firms. So it is organized, but I think it doesn't have structure. Now, when we consider the layers, yeah, we have like several layers. We say like raw goods and then final products. Yeah, it has a structure, but it's a very rigid structure. Like all the firms in this layer sell to all the firms in this layer. So it has a structure, but it's simplistic. And I want to explore something like this. Actually, there is some research that shows that what kind of networks does business transaction create. But I will talk about this a little bit more later.
But I think this means the relation is fixed and rigid.
Yeah.
So you say this structure.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Can I see the next one? Yeah. So your agent-based simulation model, many factors like the individual price setting strategies and short-term interaction and so on. And I don't know how the micro and macro link in your agent-based simulation is built from social interactions to what dynamics, the dynamics of in the macro level, what dynamics. So I mean, what is your output of the model?
Okay. So the thing is I describe the behavior of each agent, and then I run the model, and then what do I obtain?
Yeah, yes, yes.
So, well, I was going to show that later. Like, to show what kind of results, what kind of data do I analyze from the model.
Yes.
So I will answer that.
Because then a lot of newcomers, not all of them know about about economics, but they want to know what is your research, what is your system are you going to build, what is your input, and what is your output.
Okay.
So please make that clear because there are many newcomers here.
Okay, I will mention that initially, of course, after I run a simulation, I measure the inflation, the behavior of inflation, and the behavior of the production of the economy. How much is produced at each period of time. That is regarding the macro variables. At the micro level, I check the distribution of prices. So basically, I assume that first I have to make the models fit the micro evidence, like the distribution of prices, and then I can analyze the macro variables like inflation and output.
Okay.
Okay.
It's low.
No issues.
You have a question. Would you explain the maybe newcomers about the SS strategies?
Or it's in a slide next, in the next
Okay.
section.
So
It's important.
Yes.
It's important because I use it a lot in my research. Okay.
Please go on.
Okay. So basically, I divided the development of the model into several stages. Initially, I built a basic model in which I define some basic behavior of the elements, firms, households, and the government, and define a way to measure expectations, and implement a very simple case study. I mean, constant growth of money, and for the pricing of firms, I use SS strategies, and I sent that to this conference in Belgium. Then, next I wanted to study how does the behavior of the model changes if I introduce coordination, and I ran some experiments that I will show later, and I sent that to this conference, which is a local conference. And what I'm doing now is like include intermediate goods and consider either layers or a network structure in the economy. So basically, I wanted not to depart completely from traditional economic theory. So most of the model is based on monopolistic competition, which is very used in new Keynesian models. And I use agent-based modeling, especially to model the rules for updating the price. And then I simulate the model to update the aggregated dynamics. Well, this is the first work I sent to Belgium. So I built the model with these initial characteristics, and I analyze this factor, monetary neutrality. We have an analytical work made by Kaplan and Spulber in which they show that if you add money to the economy doesn't change its behavior, which is counterintuitive. Like the governments want, when the economy has problems, they try to stimulate the economy, printing more money, making loans more easy. So, but these analytical results show if you have these characteristics, money does not change the economy. So what I did was have my model, make it as close as possible as this analytical model, and see how the behavior compares. That results in discussion. So this model, the Kaplan and Spulber model, basically it's a model that shows monetary neutrality, and it relies on two factors. First, that the distribution of prices is important. So they assume that not all the firms have the same price, but there is a range of prices. And prices are updated using these kinds of pricing strategies, SS strategies. The idea is the following. Where usually you assume that if you put more money in the economy, the prices will not react immediately. That means you put more money, that money will be translated in consumer power. So more goods will be demanded, so more goods will be produced. So that's the way you assume that more money stimulates the economy. And that assumption relies on the fact that prices do not change frequently. So you put more money in the economy, prices will not react immediately. But what they show is, even if you assume that prices do not change frequently, you may have monetary neutrality. So even if you assume that prices change not often, adding more money to the economy will not create increased production. And this is the intuition of the results. So you add, you say, let's say you increase in 1% the amount of money in the economy. So you know that firms do not change price frequently. So let's say 80% of the firms do not change prices. They keep the same price. But this is compensated by the rest of the firms. The other firms increase their prices more than proportional. So in general, the total price level is increased in the same proportion to demand, and the production doesn't change. So now here it is about SS strategies. Basically, from monopolistic competition, we have that each firm has a so we have P is, we will use P to refer to the price of the price they sell. And we use P asterisk to refer to the optimal price. The optimal price, like the ideal, given many economic conditions like unemployment, wars in other countries, whatever, how much the interest rate especially. Many economic conditions, if you have all the information, you could think about the optimal price, the ideal price that will make you earn the more money. Like you set a price too high, people will not like it, people will not buy it, you will get no money. You will sell a price too low, well, people will buy it, but you will make no profit. So there is a price which is optimal and depends on many economic variables. From the theory, that price is proportional to the price index, which is capital P. So P asterisk over P is approximately constant. And the thing is that this P asterisk changes continuously, right? Because the economic conditions changes all the time. So when we talk about SS strategies, we say we have P asterisk here, which is my optimal price, and we have some interval between small s and big S. So this price may fluctuate, may increase, may reduce. It's about constant. But if that price reaches the lower bound, I will change my nominal price and reset it to the optimal price. So that means when there are small variations of this optimal price, the firm will say, oh well, let's keep the price, even if our current price, even if it's not optimal. But if the price deviates too much from the optimal, they decide to change the price. That is like a very simple price updating rule. And the thing is that if you consider that and an initial the model what the Spoolberg model considered was this, like you have an infinite number of firms and you have a uniform distribution in this interval between the small s and the big S. So the initial price of each firm is given by this distribution. And under that condition, they showed that money is neutral. So what I did was, well, I implemented this price updating rule in my model, and also consider an initial distributions of firms. I had to replace rational expectation for adaptive learning, but it's not a big difference. Well, it is, but it's not important for this experiment. And analyze how the results compare. So what I found in my model is that basically the system oscillates like Sometimes you add more money and it actually increases the production, but sometimes it decreases the production. The model has an oscillatory behavior. And what is predicted by the theory is this horizontal line. Okay. Okay. So then I wanted to analyze coordination. So in this model, this is a straight line. If my current price is here, I do not update the price. But I only update the price when I reach one of the boundaries. When we consider generalized SS strategies, we do not consider this fixed rule, but we consider a probability distribution. So this is one here. So as the price gets farther from the optimal price, the probability of changing price increases. So there are several models like this. So basically I modify one of those models and I include a factor that measures coordination. And that factor changes the shape of the function. This is the distance from the optimal price. So if many firms have updated prices in the last period, the function is more steep, and if few firms updated prices in the last period, the function is more like this one. And so I program that and analyze how do the system behaves. And well, my results are not good. Actually, they are very bad. The thing is that first I wanted to see how does the hazard rate behave. So the red line is without coordination, the green one is with coordination. The thing is that I want to generate a decreasing hazard rate, but both with and without coordination, the model generates an increasing hazard rate. So this is bad. And also about the distribution of prices, the size of the change of a price. The empirical data shows that this distribution has what is called fat tails. That means that most of the prices changes just a little bit. There are also very big changes in prices. And the graph I obtained is more like a normal distribution. So I want to generate 5 fat tails, but my model does not generate it. Now, regarding the aggregated behavior, we have this from an experiment. When I decrease the rate of growth of money in the economy, that means to decrease inflation, I would expect this. Decrease inflation and a slap in output temporarily. And this is what I get. It's not so different. But yeah. But I have a problem here. Like, I expect both. Regarding output, I expect both curves to return to the original level, and it doesn't. So that means that in this model, the rate of inflation affects the total output, and that's people think that's wrong. Well, so, and this is what I'm doing now. I took as a base this work from Takada Sensei. They have data from firms, and they say that firms interact in a network structure, and that network has a scale-free topology. The second thing is the main determinant of price changes is cost shocks from this research, which is actually like interviews with firms. No, this one is not from interviews. They collected data from firms for several years. And what I'm doing now is the current mathematical formulation and some preliminary experiments. Well, this is...
Okay, please conclude.
Okay. Just some results. Like in this trick, I built the network structure and I compared several topologies. The graph is completely connected, a random graph, and a scale-free network. When I consider the scale-free network, the hazard is like less steep, but it's still increasing. So I'm having problems to generate a decreasing hazard rate. So far my model just doesn't match the data. So no good results so far. So, ありがとうございます。Thank you for your attention.
We will have time for a couple of questions.
Yeah. Okay. Now, in this stage, your approach is so mechanism is viable, but data is another matter. So, for example, you know the concept of core inflation, so and total inflation. But in SS strategy, maybe farm change the attitude depending on food price or energy price. This is not a core inflation, but total. So fluctuation factor will affect more critically in a farm's attitude. So actually, totally well, you depending on some theory, but totally you try to fit some inflation curve in your micro model. But more micro or network point of view, as Professor Takai has pointed out, some structure of farms and related agent is important. Especially, well, please back your slide. Here. No, next one. Yes, this type of industrial interconnection. That and maybe in the case of deflation, cost cut chain exists from consumer line to material line. But in the case of inflation, cost up or markup chain will exist in this direction. So that kind of micro interrelation among farms maybe should be considered in your model. In this stage, your model is of course not rational and not homogeneous agent, but not structured agent also. Actually, in real economy consists of rather kind of a network structured agent. And maybe cost-cutting chain and markupping chain are quite different. And SS strategy is maybe strongly related to that kind of cost push or markup chain or cost cut chain. So in this stage, your theory explain unfortunately macro graphs. So in this stage, I recommend you to compare core inflation curve and total inflation curve, and depending on yourself. If you can explain that kind of more detailed structure with inflation process, then your approach might be more robust.
Thank you, Professor. So it's time. So thank you, SNM.
Last question, request. Maybe you will have a chance to present about more research, maybe several months later, as a progress report. Please explain about your basic model. We want to know the details of that, because you don't explain what is the agent, what is phrases, or what kind of rules are there. So please little bit explain about that in next year progress report.
Yeah, that's important, because in your doctoral thesis, maybe you need that kind of chapter. Okay. So actually, by using first class or that kind of server, maybe we can summarize that kind of chapter for all people. Okay. So basic notation and basic definition is very, very important. And in this COB seminar, maybe I hope so many people can understand different persons' model concept. Actually, in system science, of course, we don't know so wide aspect of fact itself. So people it is difficult to understand so details of economic factor and management factor and factor. But the model structure itself is not so difficult to understand from abstract point of view. So, and especially, well, in our laboratory, we focus on social simulation, but social simulation is not a model itself. So, before simulation, there exists model concept, especially dynamical process, not a static one, especially in the case of social simulation. So actually, we try to understand the model collection and deep structure under the model concept. Okay, in this model, an agent SS strategy, that is a basic dynamical structure that's determined. That is a very, very important and interesting concept. So depending on SS strategy and additional boundary condition, you are constructing some kind of dynamical structure. Okay? So that kind of logic itself, you have to explain in short. Of course, this kind of so figure-based explanation is easy to understand intuitively, but well, model is a model.
Thank you very much. So let's send applause to the presenter. Next presenter will be Mr. Manham. Please prepare your presentation. And the audience, please spend this time to fill in your questionnaires. If you don't have, if you have any questions, please fill in the feedback form, and Mr. Alonso will send you to the answer. All right. So and Mr. Manham, please explain the model concept.
Okay.
Construct on that.
Okay. I do my best.
After the seminar, the channel will upload the materials will be from comments.
Okay, good morning everyone. Today I will talking about myself and my research. And this is the short introduction about myself. My name is Manahan Parindungan Saragi Sialagan. This is my family name. I have two family names, Saragi Sialagan. So maybe this is difficult to me because in my passport they write Saragi, but in my birth actor they write Sialagan. So this is confusing, but maybe I will use both of this family. So my hometown is in Sumatra Island, North Sumatra Island. But now I'm since 1994 I moved to Bandung, West Java, to continue my study. This is my education. My master degree in. This is the master degree I have received in Tokyo Tech, in this department in DBT. And my master degree also in electrical engineering in Bandung Institute of Technology, and my bachelor degree in mathematics. And I'm working actually in School of Business and Management. I'm a staff and researcher and teaching assistant. And my hobby is badminton and play the guitar. This is shortly introduction about myself, and maybe the long version you can ask privately. So this is about research topic in master program, and I already did, and I want to continue to about this topic. Maybe this topic is a very common. We are very know about cooperation issue, about pollution control, public television, group relationship. So in public television, everyone can watch the television, but not everyone pay the tax. But people who not pay the tax can also watch the program. So this is each individual have incentive to take an advantage from the other person. This is the cooperative issue. Why? Because there are individual interests versus collective interests. So there are individual interests, our interests and collective interests. So in this problem we must investigate how we can make how we can know about our interests to collective interests. So there are tension between individual and collective interests. So how we can use or eliminate the tension between individual and collective interests. So the main question in cooperation issue is how cooperation emerges and how cooperation evolves. So maybe the cooperation at the first time we can build the cooperation, and after the cooperation can be built, we can maintain the cooperation. This is the general issue in cooperation. So how we can investigate the cooperation problem? So in theoretical theory, like game theory, the cooperation problem or cooperation issue can be described in questionnaire dilemma game. This is some kind of social dilemma game and depends on the payoff. In this game, there are two players, and each player have two actions or strategies: cooperate or defect. And there are payoff for each outcome. So if player 1 play C and player 2 play C, they are receive R 3-3 in this case. So how the game is reflect the cooperation? Because rational player will play defect strategy. Because if another player plays C, they can receive the advantage. They can receive 4 the defect player, and the cooperate player will receive 0 as the sample. So this is can reflect the cooperation play, the cooperation problem. And the second game is public good game. The difference is questionnaire dilemma game only can be played with 2 players, only 2 players. So the outcome or payoff for both determined by only 2 players. But in this case, public good game, all players who involved in this game determine the payoff. So if there is only one player not make contribution, the payoff will change drastically. So this is maybe in this game, in the public good game, the cooperation strongly affect the player. So to make player have cooperative behavior is very difficult in this game rather than in this game, because this only involve 2 players to determine the payoff. But in this game, all player, we can setting 4 player, 8 player, 10 player, or maybe 20, 100, and this is very hard to make the cooperative behavior in this game. So to investigate the cooperative issue, we can use this game. And what the theory can be applied to investigate the cooperation issue. The first is this is analytic game theory. And the solution is mutual defection is the stable strategy. But in one shot game. So this is the static analytic to investigate the cooperative problem. And in the repeatedly game, they propose evolutionary game theory. And in this theory, they found no strict equilibrium state strategy. This is some kind of evolutionary game, evolutionary theory played in to investigate cooperative issue. But in my research, I interest in learning theory in game. I'm not use analytical game theory or evolutionary game theory, but I use learning theory. In the learning theory, the behavior of the player we include in this investigation. So the solution is depend on model and the parameter setting. So because we have some behavior of the agent, so the parameter setting is difficult to set if we want to build the cooperative behavior. So there are so many learning theory, and in my research I focus on reinforcement learning. There are belief learning, melioration learning, bias learning, but I focus on the simple one is the reinforcement learning based on trial and error behavior. But my reinforcement learning, in my case, I include aspiration as the stimulus to determine the action. So we can see this is aspiration-based reinforcement learning. This is quite simple. The propensity or the probability to choose the action is updating by the stimulus for the action. So if the action give the positive reward, the associated action will be repeat. Maybe in everyday situation we have do this. Yes, if we do something and we receive the positive impact from our action, and in the next time we tend to repeat the action. So this is maybe the very simple learning procedure to make the action. But in this learning, the stimulus or the trigger to the probability is depends to aspiration. So it depends on our aspiration. If our the stimulus is positive, so we will increase the probability. But if the stimulus is negative, the propensity will decrease. Okay, everyone understand this one? Any question?
Ask what kind of aspiration is?
Aspiration is what my purpose. Maybe if I go to some place, if say the restaurant, I want to my desire is to make a good service, and my favorite food is provided by the restaurant. This is my aspiration. If I go to this restaurant, if there are the restaurant cannot satisfy my aspiration, so my stimulus is negative. So this is some target. We set a target for one situation. So if if you come to this life, what is your aspiration? So this is something like a target.
Okay.
Yes.
So in decision theory, sometimes optimal approach will be used. Okay, so optimal solution concept. So what is the optimal one? But well, so from in the history of decision theory, Harvard is Simon. You know Harvard is Simon have started the concept of aspiration level. Okay, not optimal. Your satisfactory level have setting, then after that one, all okay. That kind of aspiration level concept is very, very important in our daily realistic decision making. Actually, I had, so what's the secret of aspiration level? But I don't had directly, but indirectly I had Harvard assignment said, okay, that first say aspiration level. I first say that's important, no secret. So actually, everybody know daily life we use aspiration level, but so many people stick to optimal approach. But he said that for first time he said that's a secret of aspiration level concept. Actually, it's very important, and sometimes we stick to optimal solution. And actually, my comments, and you explained about reinforcement learning, but maybe so many people are not understanding reinforcement learning. And then also, anyway, and your approach is actually different from usual simple reinforcement learning because aspiration level changes. So actually, so many theoretical people also misunderstand. Okay, so rational approach and evolutionary approach and learning approach. Learning approach is not so new one. In 1990, maybe so many people have started the simple approach of learning, but it's quite different. Aspiration learning.
In the case of reinforcement learning, they not include this aspiration. So they only learn if he do something, take an action and do something to the associated action and save the reward. And if the reward is not made satisfied for them, they can change the action. So there are no like aspiration or target to the problem. Related to the aspiration, in my case, I use the dynamic aspiration, not constant aspiration, because in daily life we can see we not make the constant aspiration, but if we set the first aspiration level in the initial and we involve in the situation, and we can adjust our aspiration if we involve in this situation. So in this case, my aspiration level is not constant. This is dynamic aspiration level. So this is evolve with time. So my research question, according to the cooperation issue, is how to promote cooperative behavior in heterogeneous agents. I mean, heterogeneous agents, it is involve many agents, not only 2 agents. It is bigger than 2, and also different parameter setting, because in the previous models that used in this model, the parameter is determine how the cooperative result can be defined. So there are range of the parameter so that the cooperative behavior can be established. But if the parameter setting is different and can be treated as the variable, how we can see the cooperative result? This is the different parameter setting, and also different learning model. So I use 3 learning model. In the previous models, every researchers only use one model. So homogeneous agents, or only use one learning model for each player. So in this research, I use different learning model. So that the title of my master thesis is Promoting Cooperative Behavior in Heterogeneous Agents and Agent-Based Modeling Approach. So this is my proposed model. This is the agent-based modeling approach. So for the first phase, I will varying learning rate model. I will explain later. This is agent. There are different agents and have different learning model. After they make the action and update their probability, they can interact. In the interact phase, I will send aspiration. So maybe if in past model the agent cannot interact each other. So in my model, I have built interaction between the agent. So this is interesting to build this how we can make sharing aspiration level. So one agent can inform about his or her aspiration level to the other agent if they interact. But if they are not interact, the information about the other cannot be received. So this is how we can define the sharing aspiration between. So varying learning rate model is the simple one. Based on the scheme, I use the reinforcement learning. In this case, of accumulate the total payoff. So the accumulated total payoff will generate the stimulus to the probability. This is the simple. So every time the player play the game and receive the reward will generate the stimulus. After that, the stimulus will be aggregated for every time. Based on aggregate stimulus, they can build strengths of reinforcement. If I define beta I as a strength of reinforcement based on the average of stimulus, aggregate stimulus. Based on the strength of reinforcement, they update their probability. In the previous model, they only use learning rate, and the learning rate is constant. So their use maybe the learning rate is between 0 and 1, and maybe we have the lower learning rate or the highest learning rate. But in this case, I use the varying. I mean the learning rate I define as variable. So I use the name is the strength of reinforcement. So this strength of reinforcement learning will generate as S-shape. So in S-shape mode, we can see there are balanced value between positive and negative response. This is the shape, and we will see later how the beta function can be plotted in 3 dimensions. And sharing aspiration model, it is the second model, how the agent can interact to share or to inform their aspiration. They are processed in random interaction with equal probability. So there are equal probability to interact each other. How to receive the information is define the quality of the information. This is based on this formula, but in the simple form we can see in this example. So maybe in T generation or T iteration, these are the iteration. So we can see how the weight of the information. So we can see agent 1 interact with agent 2 and agent 4. So we can calculate the weight for agent 1. Because the agent 1 interact with agent 2 and agent 4, we can count how many agent 2 and agent 4 have neckbone. We can see agent 2 have 1, 2, 3, yes, and agent 4 only have 2. So we set the maximum. So in this case, the maximum is 3. So we use 1 plus 3. We get weight from agent 1 to agent 2 is 1/4. And to calculate for agent 4, this is same calculation in 1/3. So this is a simple simple formulation to calculate the weight. And after that, we can use the alpha. Alpha is the information from another player or agent aspiration response, and depends on the weight. And we can see, we can calculate the weight of each agent. So in this result also I consider the structure of interaction. This is the structure. I use the random structure, the regular structure in form of rectangular structure or in circular structure. But in this case, this is have the same structure, and in this my model, if we run the model in this case, they produce the same pattern. Because this, so I only want to see if the model is used in like these two case of structure, how the model can produce the result. Because this is like the structure is same, we expect the result is also same to see the similarity for this structure. And also in public good game, I also use random, rectangular, and the circular structure. This is as I said before, the beta value or sake of reinforcement is like S-shape, like not actually same like S-shape, but it is like the S-shape pattern. This is also for agent 2, and we can see the probability of operation can be achieved in 1. So all player can build the cooperative behavior in this case. So this is some result, only some result for my research. This is the for public positional dilemma game, and this is for 3 case player. They use different model, and this is for public good game. We can see in the public in the positional dilemma game, the convergence time is more shortly rather than in the convergence time in public good game, because the cooperative behavior can be established more simple within the model in this public positional dilemma game. But in this public good game, because the payoff is determined by all agents involved in the game. One agent can affect the result. So in this case, the more simple cooperative behavior can be achieved. So this is my conclusion. By combining sharing aspiration and varying learning rate, all agents improve their cooperative behavior in heterogeneous circumstances. But it depends on number of agents, interaction structure, and also the situation where agent involved, the game. Because there are two games, it is different. How we can achieve the cooperative behavior in prisoner dilemma game and in public good game. And also to promote cooperative behavior in heterogeneous agent, we should consider intensive interaction. So the more the cooperative behavior can be easily achieved if there are regular interaction. So the agent interact in regular fashion, regularly. But the process of adjusting the learning rate, balancing exploration and exploitation. So they cannot the learning rate. We must varying the learning rate. Learning rate cannot be set constant, because if the lower and the higher learning rate is depends, it is impact on our result. So maybe in the lower case we cannot establish the cooperative behavior, but in the highest learning rate we can establish. But in this model, I not make the learning rate constant. I use strength of reinforcement to change the parameter to variable. So according to sharing, agent can adjust the aspiration based on average. According to the varying rate, this is S-shaped dynamic is very important. So they have the same value to determine the strength of the reinforcement. And the last is the feature research. It is my feature research. I want only prove the model using simulation model. So maybe in the next I want to make mathematical analysis to verify the dynamic of the model in more formal. And also I want to make the experimental study to observe the pattern that arise in human learning. And there are maybe in this case I only make one internal model. In this case of aspiration level, but in the next case I want to investigate in the case of experimental study what kind of the internal model that determine the aspiration level. This is very important because in my opinion the aspiration level is not constant. We must vary. The people must adjust the aspiration level depends on the situation he involved. So this is the next my feature research. Because the time is finished, I finish my presentation. Maybe there are some new result in my current research, but later I will.
Please leave it for private meeting.
Okay.
So is there any question or comment, please?
Okay, but my first comment to everybody. So in this experimental approach, our school don't focus on experimental economics way of experiment. So a kind of gaming simulation technique is very, very important. And gaming simulation is artificial so game context. But in that case, so player's role is well defined. Then player can easily reconstruct the interpretation of rule-based player's internal model. So and if you construct some gaming simulation for this type of aspiration gaming, then maybe you become a game player. I hope you are.
Thank you very much. I will try to make the gaming simulation to make observe pattern rise in human learning. How the human learning is maybe the best.
Actually, well, in our laboratory, in the history of our laboratory, we have developed several types of gaming simulation. Of course, I'm a gaming simulation designer also. So sometime in our seminar, we'd like to play several types of gaming simulation. That might be very, very helpful for other people to design gaming simulation. So sometimes we might design inflation gaming or that kind of gaming. So that is a very, very interesting one. And also in this mathematical analysis, maybe a kind of bifurcation approach might be done. So for that purpose, well, bifurcation approach is a very, very important approach, but it is very, very difficult to apply. So in my research, there exists that kind of typical type of bifurcation analysis about, prisoner dilemma or norm game. So please look at that one.
Okay, thank you.
Is there another question? Do you understand what the concept of this research? The blue colors?
Please.
You're required to ask at least one question, so please.
So, I didn't understand well which elements of your model are stochastic, and which elements are deterministic.
Maybe reinforcement aspiration model is fully stochastic. All. So, because this is also my interest to make stochastic approach to understand the behavior, and I expect mathematical analysis based on the bifurcation concept is not in the continuous but in discrete, and also involve the stochastic process. There are some theory I had already read. There are evolutionary stochastic approach. So this can be based on, because the model actually, the simulation model actually generate the stochastic. So the result is not make the same pattern. So in my case, I must choose some running in 1,000 times for each 100 iteration. So this learning model is fully stochastic. Okay, thank you very much.
Any other questions? Well, I have. Can you explain your model? I think it's the second of the first slide. In the use system thinking. We have a system. We have a spring seminar about many systems, and can you use that kind of systems thinking to explain your model in a whole image?
Okay, but if we consider the agent as a part of the system, so the interaction between the agent can determine the whole system. So in many cases, in the previous research, they not make the interaction. So they only observe only the part. So the maybe this is not the holistic approach, but in this case, I made the interaction. So the interdependency and the relationship between among the agent can be generate the emergent properties.
I don't know that I can explain your model right by using this kind of goal-oriented system. And in that system, this decision-making element that is, and the input is the part of choice and the thing, and then the decision-making elements is controlled by aspiration learning, many aspiration learning elements. And here the output is utility function, and it's to maximize this utility function. So in this case, I think it's a reward, right?
In this case, yes.
So his system is a kind of goal-oriented system. So we have we have studied this kind of system in this spring seminar. So the newcomers, I think you remember about this goal-oriented system, and I think your system is kind of decision-making system.
Maybe this is goal-oriented system, but in the control theory, maybe the goal is already set and it is fixed for our purpose. But in this case, the aspiration is not constant. Yes.
Yeah.
So this is the difference. Maybe the system approach or differential ordinary approach applied to this model is very difficult, because this is aspiration level is also involved in this goal-oriented setting. So this is not the constant terms, but it is the variable terms. So the complexity is increased in this case.
Yeah. So actually, phase diagram approach is very, very important. Aspiration, for example, aspiration parameter change. Then phase, and bifurcation will happen. That kind of approach is important. Anyway, so actually in the system science, there are several type of thinking typology or modern typology exists, and basically static one and dynamics one and statistical one and differential equation one and so on, and decision-making typology. But nowadays, that kind of traditional typology is changing drastically. So if, for example, macro one and macro relationship, I call that one micro unfolding process. So that kind of so many different type of newcomer of system modeling typology is now emerging. So in our laboratory in the future, well, depending on your own research, well, we'd like to construct a new type of system thinking typology, okay, instead of traditional text. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yue-san.
Okay, so please send an approach to the
By the way, 2 minutes after that, well, today you cut some explanation. So 2 minutes presentation. Okay.
The last one.
Yeah.
This is I want to aspiration based to balancing exploration and exploration in organizational learning. This is the concept in behavioral studies of organization. In maybe the founder of this is March, George March. It is same year as Charles Simon. This is also impact in this organizational learning. So this is the model, the conceptual model, only the conceptual model before he built the simulation model. So he defined the organization learning as the encoding in the routines. In the routines such as rules, procedures, conventions, strategy, and technology. And there are mutual learning between the routines and the member of organization. The member have experiences within this organization, and also they have internal model in case of in terms of belief, value, and norm, and this is impact the experience for the member in organization. So the experience of the member can be changed the routine, and also the member can learn from the routines, because every member in organization will follow the rule, procedure, convention within the organization. So this is the mutual learning in organizational learning between member in organization and the organization itself. This is very interesting. So how we can balance the learning to the routine, and also how the people can learn to the routine, because the concept of mutual learning. So the exploitation and exploration is very important, because how he can learn more slowly or fast learning, slow learning, and also the routines is also learning fast or slow. And I found that the variety in this member can generate the improvement of the learning. So maybe I not explain, but my basic idea is the law of equals variety. Only variety can destroy variety. This is the important concept, and I apply it to this model, because if the regulation system cannot handle the system itself, because the variety of the regulation is not vary as much as the system be handled. So this is important. So how the source of the variety is the member. So we allow the member to make their exploration about the real world, the real world. So in this model we have real world, belief, so we can see how people learn and how the learning can make the balancing between exploitation and exploration. This is I will explain maybe in the next my presentation.
Okay, anyway, in this area we have double loop learning and landscape learning, and many type of hierarchy learning concept is very, very important. So, and this is well discussed domain, but even now, so many important research area now they exist. So, and because our realistic organization structure is changing and changing and changing.
Yeah.
So it's a very important domain for our research. Okay.
Thank you very much, Sensei.
Let's send applause to the presenter. Thank you very much. The next presenter will be Mr. Torik. Please prepare your presentation. And be sure you open the feedback form and fill in that, please.
Do you have, No? We can.
Okay, so please explain your research concept. Research concept is very important.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to start my presentation. Firstly, my self-introduction. My name is Daisuke Torigai. I live in Shinagawa, and my research region is management of construction work. Why I choose this theme? My bachelor degree, I studied industrial engineering. This region include this, deal with this program, scheduling program and operation research. I studied this, and I suppose I want to use this knowledge to solve any problem in real world. So, when I meet this region in this laboratory. Okay. Today's presentation, firstly I explain about my research background and my research objective. Next, I explain my research model and scenarios. Lastly, simulation result and the conclusion. Okay, this is background of construction work. First, recently in Japan, there is little difference in technology about construction work in each general contractor. So, but the most important is process control or management of construction work. This is process of construction work. Firstly, there is a vacant site and structure work is operated, and next inter-finish work is operated. Lastly, this building is sold. In this process, the most complex process is this process. Next slide, I explain about this. As I said, structural work isn't complex because this process is just constitute a framework. So here is only carpenters. On the other hand, inter-finish work is very complex because there are variable implement patterns and there are variable complex relation of each work process. So this means, for example, flooring work is a carpenter's work, but installing bath unit and the toilet bowl is a toiletry maker's work. So there is a variable implement patterns. This reason cause complexity of this process. So there are variable decision making of inter-finish work of apartment building according to his implement pattern and the progress situation of working. So my objective is to approach this process. This is current situation. As I said, inter-finish work is very complex, so and it is difficult to make the optimized scheduling. And this situation makes a waste, such a waiting hands. So my objective is to improve this situation. And to realize this, we use to realize this, we make a model and use the model. And I want to improve this situation. To use model helps supervisor to grasp the work situation, and to use model is helpful at the time of making any scheduling. And generally, in project, personal cost is important. So to eliminate these waste is very useful. So to realize this objective, I propose a new performance index. The index is this operation rate of each worker. I explain why I proposed this index. Please image there is a worker whose employment type is stipulation, so he can get a salary or he has to go to work, and his preceding work haven't finished, so he can't operate his work. In this situation, he can get a salary without work. So this is very serious problem for general contractor who give salary to these workers. So this index is very needed, but as I said, this interfinish work is very complex, too complex to calculate this index. So we make a model and calculate this index. This is my model image. Each worker go to work and confirm progress of the construction work in office. Check the progress table, and he goes to work, and he operates his work each rooms. After that, he go back to office to update task information, and each worker repeat this cycle until the time to go home. This is my model image, and as I said, I use ABM agent-based modeling method to represent this image. And in ABM there are agents and spot. Spot is agent to move from one spot to other spot related to given decision making. So interfinish work of apartment building, the agents correspond to these workers, and spots correspond to workspace. So in next two slides, I explain about workspace and worker. This is workspace. Building have floors, and each floors have rooms. hierarchical structure. And each rooms have this flow or working process. To be handled. And next definition of worker. Each worker have these parameters, and we represent this situation by using this parameter. This is workers. Workers definition. Their action, their act refers these parameters. Okay, this is definition of evaluation index I proposed. This is very simple. All we have to do is calculate how long is he working during his portal to portal time. This is very simple. But we can't calculate without a model.
Sorry. One question again. What's the definition of n time? N time.
Sorry. Sorry, I'm wrong. This is here.間違えました。ちょっとこれ。
Off time?
Off timeです。Sorry.
Okay.
I'm wrong.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next. I explain constraint and actual number of each worker. Works period have strict constraint. The workers who operate first progress work complete one floor by 6 days. So why this? Why is there a constraint? I explain about this. As I mentioned above, construction of apartment building work are distributed in two major compartments: construction of structure and inter-finish work. And inter-finish work began before completion of structure work, and inter-finish work cannot get ahead of construction of structure. So this work have this constraint. Okay. right side represent the actual number of each process. This is based on interviewing Takenaka Corporation. So this is real number. Okay, simulation result. As a simulation result, we found this model is able to calculate a new index for each jobs.
This is carpenter.
This is operation rate 90%, like that. And this model is able to correspond to changing the number of input workers. So we can experiment variable case. Sorry, this red line represents experiment of actual number case, and green line represent plus 5 members to each worker, each jobs. So we can find this we can find this and by and using the index we have experiment, so we can find each jobs are divided into 4 patterns, whether increase and decrease the number of workers affect to themselves and other jobs or not. This is very important. The increase and decrease of the worker affect to other jobs is important. So we have to check these workers precisely. Next slide explain this. Through the experiment, we find this is maybe optimized workers number about the electrical engineering. +2 member is optimized because increased 2 member operation rate of other workers is up, and work period is major improvement. So so we experiment other jobs like this way. We find this result. For example, flooring engineering. Decrease 1 member is optimized to flooring engineering. Then we explained this for engineers. Conclusion. What finding? We propose a new performance index operation rate of each worker, which are difficult to measure in real world, and evaluate this index and work period. We pointed out the possibility of wrong of actual number of each process, which is used decades. So using this index and our model, general contractor is able to make a scheduling considering investment efficiency of personal cost. This is my research. Thank you for your attention.
We have plenty of time for questions. Please.
I have a question. Okay. Please show workout model. Above models and below models is another people. Workers and researcher is workers in structure and is another from searching people.現場で働いている人と調査に行く人は別の人ですか？
いや、そうか。ちょっと日本語でこれですよね。調査じゃなくて探索っていうことでちょっと難しいんですけど、まあこの進捗表みたいなのがあって、でここで自分がやるべき部屋を参照して、まだ例えばフローリングやる人だったら、この部屋まだフローリング終わってないなっていう情報を見て、でその部屋に行くんですけど、この情報を見て行くんですけど、例えばABCD っていう部屋があって A っていう部屋にこの人行きたいなと思って行くじゃないですか。でももう一人同じフローリング工っていう人が何人もいるんですけど、その人も、A っていう部屋に行っちゃうみたいなことがあって見に行っちゃうっていう。でそしたら一人入ってたらその人はその部屋には入れないんで、そのプロセスをただ行くだけじゃなくて行ってその部屋が作業できるかできないかっていうのを見たりするので、この作業をする部屋に行くっていうプロセスのことを探索っていう呼び方をしているっていうだけで。
わかります。別の人が言ってるわけじゃなくて。
ではなくて、そうです。それちょっとそうですね。ありがとうございます。
Another question to come. Please.
Is that right, guys? I want to. Could you please show the graph? Show the simulation result. No.
どれですか?
Yes. What is the unit of work period? In the hours or minutes? Days?
Days. Yes.
Okay. Can you explain in this to find the optimal work period, we can increase the number of worker or to reduce the number of worker. In this the above, if we increase from 6 worker to 8 plus 2, yes, in electrical. Yes.
Yes.
And in the flooring, we decrease. Yes.
Yes.
To 6 to 5.
Yes.
Why? Why the we?
ね。Increase number is red and green.
I want to ask what the factor, the number in the case of flooring. What is the factor? The number of worker must be reduced to have the optimal work period. In your model, what the factor you can explain why we must reduce the number of, or we must add the number of, in the electrical case we must add the number of the worker, and in this flooring case we must reduce the number of the worker. What is the factor? Can you explain?
If increase the number, improve work period, but this is decrease operation rate of other worker. If increase these numbers.
Sorry guys, maybe I want to know the explanation about the kind of the kind of the electrical, such electrical and flooring. What is the work must be done in electrical and flooring that can be determined. We must reduce or add the number of the person, not in case of the simulation work period.
Okay, if you cannot explain now, yeah, I can explain in Japanese, and we will try to help you to explain in Japanese.
いいですか。それちょっと日本語で、今回考えてるのは、その作業員の数を、増やしたり減らしたりする、その本人の、そのオペレーションレートっていうのと、それをすることによって他の人に影響するオペレーションレート。例えば、なんだろうな、次とかでいいか。例えばこういうのだったら、この人の、例えばこれだったらユニットバスっていうこの人の、作業員の数を1人減らすと、彼の1人減ってるんで彼は作業するべき時間は増えるので稼働率上がるんですけど、他の部屋が、疲れてしまって稼働率が下がってしまったりするんで、そういった、自分その後期だけを見るんではなくて、その他の人への影響とかも考えつつで、あと後期への影響も考えて、そのワークピリオドって後期と、彼自身の稼働率オペレーションレートと 他の人のオペレーションレートも、まあ、総合的にちょっと俯瞰的に見て、まあ、それで最適な、人数、はいまあ、かなり、連続的じゃなくて、まあ、1、2、3とかそういう感じで、できるので、まあ、この周辺で、これだけ増減させてみて、見ているというやり方をしています。なので、まあ、これだと、1人減らすと、まあ、日数はちょっと増えてしまうんですけど、まあ、他の人の、増やすと日数は減って改善するんですけど、他の人の稼働率っていうものが、まあ、良くない影響が出てくるので、まあ、こう増えるんですけど、まあ、他の人に影響がない程度のものを選んでます。
Okay, I will explain in short that the output of the system is the work period. The whole system. The objective is to reduce the work period, but also another objective is that to increase the operation rate of the workers. For example, if we reduce the number of UB from increase the number of UB from 2 to 3%, the work period is shortened. However, the operation rate of himself and of the others is affected. So we have to see. We have to observe the total output and the micro in the operation rate of each workers to find the optimized result, the optimized strategies.
So every job is interdependent. It is depend on the other.
Yes, of course. It's a multi-agent system and it have a very full interaction with each other. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have any other questions? And if you have a question but have not a chance to ask now, please write in the feedback form, both in Japanese and English is okay. And then Mr. Torigai will answer you via email. Okay, thank you very much. Please send him a applause. Okay, thank you for your contributions to the seminar. I think we have a very interesting seminars with two doctoral students and one master 2-year student. I think newcomers have some hint for your research. So if you have any interest of research of Mr. Alonso, Mr. Manha, and Mr. Torigai, please ask them for advices. And the next seminar will be in the next seminar will be next week, and chairman will be Mr. Torigai. All right, Mr. Torigai. Okay, and the presenter will be me and Mr. Moriyama and Mr. Komori. And the subject is the same: self-instruction and research topic introduction, and maybe progress report. Okay. Do you have the members have any announcement or something to talk?